Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a collection of true accounts that, well, they'll really make you question some basic assumptions. Assumptions about safety, about trust, even about the people you meet every day. These aren't just spooky stories, they're real-life events, and they reveal some pretty chilling undercurrents beneath, ordinary life.
Indeed. We've gathered some truly unsettling narratives for you today. They really highlight how quickly comfort can just unravel, turn into chaos, and how trust can transform into terror. Our mission today isn't just to tell these stories, but to sort of unpack them, explore the deeper implications, what happens when the truly horrific breaks into everyday lives.
Absolutely. We're talking about everything. Vacations gone wrong, on platforms we think we trust, and also relationships that spiral into dangerous obsession, even outright terror. So yeah, prepare yourselves. We're about to get into some moments where people face their absolute worst nightmares. Okay, let's kick things off with a couple of experiences from the world of online rentals, specifically Airbnb. These stories, they're a stark reminder, aren't they? How a platform that's built on trust can sometimes hide some really shocking dangers.
And what's really disturbing about these cases, I think, is how they undermine the very idea of the platform. The host is supposed to be welcoming, guarantee safety, but these stories show how that can be completely twisted.
Exactly. Our first story shows this perfectly. Picture this. A couple, Julissa and Chidozi, both high-pressure jobs and anesthesiologists. They finally get time off, fly 3,000 miles. Dream vacation, right? An oceanside guest house. Just want to escape. The owner, JJ, he's a superhost. Reviews are glowing. He even leaves a welcome note, bottle of wine chilled. Looks perfect.
The ideal setup, seemingly.
Exactly. But then, nightmare. Around 5:30 a.m., violent banging on the door. And a voice yelling, "I know you're in there, Kevin." So the next morning, Julissa calls JJ, shaken, obviously. And here's where it gets really weird. He just admits it. Says something like, "Yeah, that was me. Sorry about the confusion," but claims it's too short notice to explain properly. Then hangs up.
Wow. That initial interaction itself is such a huge breach of security and trust, especially from a superhost, right? That title implies reliability. His casual dismissal, it just shatters that illusion of safety immediately. It's a breakdown of the whole guest host thing before anything worse even happens.
And it did get worse. Much worse.
Yeah.
Later that night, just after 2 a.m., a hooded figure smashes through their bedroom window. Chidozi is a big guy, 230 pounds, tackles the intruder. But it's Julissa in the struggle who manages to unmask him. And it's JJ, the superhost, ranting about cleaning fees when the police finally show up.
Unbelievable. That's beyond disturbing. And it forces you to ask, how good are these vetting systems if a superhost can do something like this? The sources mentioned the actual owner later told police JJ was subletting illegally. She thought the couple were just his friends visiting.
Right, so it points to a huge flaw, not just in vetting hosts, but in overseeing who's actually renting these places out. Seems like they rely heavily on reviews, which clearly aren't enough sometimes.
Absolutely. Reviews can't catch everything, especially underlying issues.
So the couple, they went through serious psychological trauma. They asked for $5,000 compensation. Airbnb offered $2,500 and 5 therapy sessions each for a multi-billion-dollar company. Well, it makes you question that your safety is our priority line, doesn't it?
It feels very reactive, not proactive. Damage control after the fact.
Okay, let's move to the next account. This one's less about an active threat, more a chilling secret. Couple takes a staycation in their own city. Rents a big fancy Airbnb. Only problem, this overpowering smell of cleaning products, just in the TV room.
That's an interesting detail. The overwhelming clean smell being a warning sign.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of reassuring, it felt off. So they investigate. Sniff around the room, They decide to pull up the carpet. And underneath, a huge, dark brown stain on the wood floor. Big enough, distinct enough. They knew immediately what it implied.
Oh, wow. Hidden history, literally under the rug. So they looked into it.
They did.
Yeah.
And their research confirmed the worst. A man had killed his girlfriend. Right there, in that apartment, just months before. Seems the new owner bought it, did a quick, half-hearted cleaning job, as the source said, and put it straight back on Airbnb. No disclosure.
Wow.
So what happens then? The couple obviously freaked out, cut the staycation short, took photos, reported everything to Airbnb. Airbnb initially promised to delist it, but then the same listing popped back up later. Airbnb claimed the stain was clean, and they were, quote, personally satisfied it met their standards.
That really gets into the whole murky area of disclosure, doesn't it? Especially with rentals versus sales. Property sale laws often require disclosing stigmatized properties. But short-term rentals, it's less clear. It raises serious questions. Should platforms have to disclose this kind of history? Ethically, prioritizing the listing over a guest's potential trauma seems wrong, especially claiming they're personally satisfied.
Yeah, that phrase is particularly jarring. It completely dismisses the potential impact on guests.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving from these shared spaces and sort of transactional trust issues, let's unpack how terrifying personal relationships can become. These next stories aren't about strangers. They're about obsession, anger, desperation, driving people to unthinkable acts.
And what's so chilling here is how closeness, intimacy itself, gets weaponized. The psychological damage can be so much worse when it comes from someone who knows you, knows your vulnerabilities.
Absolutely. This first one, it sounds like fiction, honestly, like a spy novel. But it's a real account of a man pushed to the absolute limit by an ex-girlfriend, Connie. For 3 solid years, she made his life and his family's life hell. Started with libelous posts online, then attacking his parents' business with bad reviews, then actively sabotaging any new relationship he tried to start. A total psychological assault.
Just relentless.
Totally. So here's where it gets, well, extreme. The family felt they had no other choice. The man faked his own death, a car crash. And for 9 months, it worked. Connie went silent. The online attack stopped. He had to completely disappear, obviously. Only communicate with those in on it.
That is astounding. The level of torment required to make someone choose that.
Yeah.
Faking your own death, it just speaks volumes about the impact of relentless harassment, how it can just dismantle someone's entire life, especially when maybe legal options feel too slow or inadequate. It really highlights that blurry line between online attacks and real-world consequences.
But, even a plan like that isn't foolproof. It was undone by an aunt. Well-meaning, apparently, but not very tech-savvy. She'd been living abroad, didn't know the full story, and posted something on Facebook that revealed he was alive.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So Connie finds out, and the libelous assault, as the source calls it, starts all over again. Reportedly hundreds of fake accounts this time. But then, sort of unexpectedly, a new guy comes into Connie's life. She gets engaged, gets married, her focus shifts, and finally, his nightmare ends.
It's a strange resolution, but it still raises that big question, doesn't it? In our hyper-connected digital age, how do you really protect yourself from someone that determined? Especially long-term harassment. This story shows how hard it is to truly escape. The fear lingers.
It really does.
Yeah.
Okay, our final deep dive for today, this one goes to a very dark place. Post-divorce conflict. A woman finds out from the police that her ex-husband, Adam, hired someone to kill her. Not just a threat, a concrete plan. Hired an old friend. And it all stemmed from a really bitter custody battle over their son.
This connects, sadly, to a pattern you sometimes see in high-conflict divorces. Unresolved anger, possessiveness, refusing to prioritize the child. It can escalate to extreme violence. It stops being about the child and becomes purely about control. Toxic control.
Exactly. Adam just wouldn't compromise on custody despite his own long work hours making it difficult. So he took it to this unimaginable level. But luckily, the friend he approached, an ex-Army Ranger with a drug record. He was actually a confidential police informant.
Wow, that's a crucial twist.
A life-saving one. It turned Adam's plan into an opportunity for the police to step in. They used Adam's belief that this guy was a cold-blooded murderer to get close and record his intentions.
The informant's role was key. Often these plots are foiled by someone inside the perpetrator's circle speaking up. It's a stark warning, isn't it, about what can happen when conflict gets that extreme. And it makes you wonder what support systems should be there to identify and intervene before it reaches this point, especially with kids involved.
The police set up a sting, recorded Adam discussing the murder-for-hire details, led straight to his arrest, and then, incredibly, the victim, his ex-wife, visited him in jail, begged him to take a plea deal for their son's sake, to avoid the trauma of a trial. He eventually did, got 15 years. Her strength in that moment is remarkable.
It really is. It shows the agonizing choices victims face, putting their child first even after such betrayal. This case shows the worst kind of malice, but also incredible resilience, and just underscores again the importance of prioritizing kids in these conflicts.
Oh, wow. These stories together, they paint a really vivid and frankly unsettling picture, how vulnerable we can be. Traveling, renting, even in our closest relationships.
Absolutely. Whether it's failures in platform systems or hidden malice in personal lives, the common thread is that unexpected breach of trust, of perceived safety. These aren't just weird one-offs. They point to a need for more vigilance, maybe, a more critical look at the risks around us, and a better understanding of, well, human behavior. Our sense of security can be fragile.
It's a really stark reminder, isn't it, that beneath the surface of normalcy, even convenience, And within personal connections, there can be these truly disturbing realities. It makes you think not just what happened, but why things can fail so badly.
So reflecting on today's deep dive, what really stands out to you, our listeners? Is it the fragility of trust? The hidden dangers may be closer than we think? Or just the terrifying extremes human conflict can reach?
We wanted to offer a sobering look at these real dangers today. Hopefully these accounts make us all think a bit more about awareness, about caution, not to live in fear, but just to be more informed, maybe recognize when something feels off.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We really encourage you to think about these stories. Maybe even consider how we navigate a world where sometimes horror isn't just fiction, and how we can look out for ourselves and others.
We'll be back soon with another exploration into the fascinating, sometimes unsettling world around us. Stay curious and stay safe out there.